5:04 in the morning. I'm feeling in my bones this morning. August 5th, 2023. It's 5:04 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. Who the hell's awake yet? This is your zombie weaver, John Z. of Rosemond, California. Right in the armpit of the Antelope Valley. Good morning, Daryl from Artists of Recovery. Now, you want to tell me who the Sam Hill this Molly Hatchet is? We haven't even heard of this one out here in the West Coast growing up. I haven't even heard of any of the songs. Back in the days. Yeah, you and I are both showing the same age dirt. That's for sure. I heard of Fleetwood Mac. I've heard of The Who. I've heard of the Guess Who. We heard about those kind of concerts. Jethro Tull, Leonard Skinner. Even when it gets a little older and not so much of the younger people would hear about it. Bobby Sherman? No, Bobby Sherman. Ricky Nelson. Juice Newton. The Burrito Brothers. Okay, back in your time of 79, we were having a fair out here in the San Fernando Valley, California. Northridge. Campus of Cal State and Northridge University. Or Cal State University, Northridge. That works. CSUN. The Devonshire Downs area was a fairgrounds and basically a football stadium for the university, but it was also used for community events such as fireworks and such as concerts and the San Fernando Valley Fair itself. We would have rotating bands come in. The only time I actually remembered going over there for a concert was I saw Juice Newton, and I heard Queen of Hearts. I heard that on the radio. I was like, cool. And then there was Ricky Nelson before he passed away. If anybody was watching Ozzie and Harriet, we all knew who the hell Ricky Nelson was. And he was already making his musical debut. But this one, he was like doing an agent. He was doing I don't know, some kind of a final tour of his, I guess. And my brother and I went over to see him. Okay, that was 1984. 83 or 84 in that time. He was doing concert series. He was getting out there. I mean, hell, he was born in 1940 and passed away in 85. So it was interesting to see him at the concert. We were almost front row. It wasn't crowding up as much, but it was getting there. I remember watching Juice Newton before him. No, actually, it was the Burrito Brothers that came up. They were the warm-up band. I never even heard of the Burrito Brothers. I don't even know why their name is so stuck in my head. But they were. Maybe because they remind me so much of food. I don't think I ever heard their music before. No, I'm just typing it up in here right now. I suppose let's see. Okay, between 74 and 1980 or 1980s. Okay, there was. Okay, these guys had toured with a lot of other people. And I just, listened to a little bit of their music, and they did about maybe 2 sets of a song or two. But the thing is, I never even heard it on on VH1 or MTV, or let alone the radio stations for that matter. But you mentioned the word Ricky Nelson, and everybody knew where Ricky Nelson was. My God. Ricky Nelson, Ricky Nelson. The guy was going to drive me crazy with his, what's his career at this point over here. But geez, this guy was really, you know, Ozzy and Harriet. We're talking about the 60s. We're talking about late 50s, early 60s. And his music was soft rock. Is soft rock. There was a lot of people in their 30s and 40s and 50s who grew up. There were some 20s out there in the park listening to him. They heard of him through their parents. And it was jammed in there. I mean, the stands were jammed up. They had covered stands on one side, and the rest of the area beyond them was for cattle, farm, livestock stuff. And then out in the open field, it also had open field, and they were watching the band. And we're just listening to the music. We're just listening and jamming to it. Susan comes in, does 2 or 3 sets of her songs, and we're jamming to that too. It was I think what upset me and my brother at that point is when he passed away in December. Well, crashed and burned on this one here, and this sucked. DC-3 crashed. Attempted to make an emergency landing while in flight. I'm reading this off of Wikipedia. Guntersville, Alabama. He was supposed to be performing a New Year's Eve concert there. I heard about him. I saw him in the movie Rio Bravo. What was it, Rio Bravo? Oh, Rio Bravo, I think. They never mentioned that on there, did they? Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, it was a Howard Hawks film. It was an old western, 1959. I kept seeing that every year. I still love watching that thing. John Wayne and Dean Martin in it. Howard Hawks. This guy did a lot of maybe cheesy westerns out there, but he did some pretty damn good work. And Rio Bravo would see because we saw 2 guys singing their asses off. And it was cool. You know, it's interesting seeing Ricky Nelson as a gunslinger. Instead of a teenager with the Ozzy and Harriet, he was moving away from that. He was moving into his own different pathway. So it was interesting seeing him trying to act grown up, mature, and then he pulls out a guitar and he starts singing. The damn thing was Dean Martin. My God, that was cool. Every time I watch that damn thing, I'm watching that. I always loved watching that one. It was hard to sell for me, my brother, to deal with it. No, I think it was, we saw his concert, and then went there, and it's like maybe a few years after that, the death hit my brother hard because we were there at the concert. It didn't dawn on me because I didn't have the perspective. I didn't have the context. I didn't understand. Growing up as a teenager, I didn't grow up under the influence of Ricky Nelson. My brother had. He watched the shows. He'd watch the reruns like crazy. I mean, they'd put the reruns on there. He'd find them, he'd watch them. Some occasions. My mother would know who he was. But my mother never had a chance to see him at a concert, though. My brother and I had taken an opportunity. But it was all right. It was all right. We enjoyed ourselves during that time. The hell would have been a hell of a lot better if I actually, That was a cool concert to see. Don't get me wrong. Seeing Juice Newton up there playing with the Queen of Hearts. I mean, this song I kept hearing on the radio and also seeing it on MTV and also VH1 at times. So when the musical stations came out, I mean, we saw those things. We heard them. I'd hear them on the radio a lot. See, I understand about the distance that we're getting from each generation. Each generation does the same damn thing to each other, except we're getting more and more theoretically, technically sophisticated, and these kids are getting a lot more Borgified, should I use the term? I mean, yeah, it's getting to the point where we're constantly looking at phones, and if we're not hitting it into each other or hitting poles or something like that. But these kids are tech savvy. They're a lot tech savvy, and they're also growing up spoiled as hell. Daryl, face it, we're old, okay? I had to keep facing that damn thing. I'm not as old. I'm not as young as I thought I was a long time ago. Especially when my body keeps breaking down on me, but also I'm trying to see how I look at the older stars that I grew up with. I'd seen postings on social media how they're getting on with age. I can't tell you how many actresses I had a crush on. Well, when you're a teenager with hormones, it wasn't the music. It wasn't the musicians. I didn't have posters of musicians. I didn't have posters of them at all. Blank walls on some occasions. Kept moving from place to place. You couldn't mark up the walls all that much unless you had tape. So you had to keep things almost clean enough on the damn things. I played with Lego, which increased brain activity, which increased imagination. I read books to fill myself up with. These days, I go to YouTube and see if the books are on there so I can listen to the damn thing. I'm getting old, dude. Yeah. You're having a problem dealing with the Gen Zers at this point, the teenage young whelps. Imagine how it was like when we were growing up. Oh, yeah. You remember? The older people kept demanding respect out of us because they were the oldest. We're doing the same damn shit. I mean, hell, if you had seen some of the videos I've seen concerning about the Karens out there, especially the older folks looking at the younger kids and they're yelling at them for no reason. Kids could be standing on their property, and these older folks come on here and start yelling and screaming their damn heads off. It's like, what is your major malfunction? And the kids are going, what are your problem? What are your problem? Get out of here. I'm taping you. Oh, God. Blah. Oh. We keep saying kids today. Our grandparents kept saying kids today. They didn't understand where the hell our mindsets were at. My own mother didn't understand where the hell my brother's mind or why mine went. Mine, I kept hidden and closed off from people. Of course, I could talk to them about a book if I just looked at the book, read the book, and then regurgitated the damn thing and just quote by rote. I did that a lot when I was a young kid. You ever heard of Evelyn speed reading? Those courses that they actually had about 1960s, 1970s. You skip every other word, but you go through the meat of it. And you're like, I learned how to do that without going through the damn course. I got the gist of the thing, but the thing is, I didn't really read. I didn't go into it. I didn't feel the characters. I was just going for the data. Okay, let me tell you about this book over here. Let me tell you about this character over here. You don't have the character in here. You don't have the character in here. But you're reading them with the eyes, and you're just, well, let me tell you about this book over here. That was me. Shit. No wonder I didn't like myself as much. Yeah, I had a problem with me a long time ago. So while you're talking about this Molly Hatchet, we never even heard of Molly Hatchet on the West Coast. You kidding me? The songs were never played on the radios out here. We had several rock stations, both on AM and FM. My brother would constantly switch. Hell, he even switched to some of the channels that would actually do soul music on it and R&B on it, just to get variety. But on Molly Hatchet, if my brother was alive, maybe he would have heard him. I don't know, because I never heard of Molly Hatchet. So that was kind of thing. Now, here's the other thing you were talking about. Kai Sinnott, a 20-year-old snot-nosed kid that didn't know his ass from a hot rock. Yeah, I said it. Dumbass kid. I said it because he still wants to keep his popularity. The problem is with these youth that we have, with the social media we have, they want constant feeding. They want their egos expanded. We're creating little megalomaniacs out there. So no wonder the older generation have a problem with us. Well, we got a problem with our own damn kids. And this kid manipulates. He got what he deserved. You're going to be creating a damn mob out there in New York City over some bullshit. You don't even give people anything about it. And they're all in the age group. They're teenage all the way up to their early 20s. And then they go nuts. I got no sympathy for the brat. I'm on record. I got no sympathy for a brat that causes issues left and right. He's charged. He's going to get trial. If it's a misdemeanor, maybe community service if he's lucky. If he's not lucky, pay a fine. But if there's been any activity remotely relating to him, or if the judge has really got a bad day, he may be spending a few days. I don't know what they're going to be doing at this point. But causing that much damage and causing that much problems concerning about a theoretical free giveaway? Dude, we never even had that while growing up. If there was going to be a giveaway, and I understand about your concert situation. They always tried to do the same thing out here, too. We always had free concerts, but the problem was we also had LAPD out there making sure it didn't happen. You get in, you have a ticket. That's how it was. There was none of this free-for-all stuff. They wouldn't allow it out here. The ordinances wouldn't allow it back then. They didn't. And if there was going to be a flash mob like that, there was no TV cameras to capture the damn thing. We'd just get the thing in the newspaper. That's about it. We would read about it in the Daily News, our local papers, or the LA Times, also local papers. They weren't international during those days, but they were reaching quite a distance. You're asking the question, can our generations relate with each other? Oh, hell no. You kidding me? Please tell me you're kidding me. You ever discovered this growing up? You had to understand that when you were dealing with your grandparents and your parents, do you ever tell them about your old-fashioned or your old prehistoric? Oh, my God. There was something that I could not say in front of Mom because I said it one time in front of her. That's so prehistoric, I said out of my damn mouth. It stuck throughout the decades. It reminded my mother of our age difference. What she grew up as a youth compared to how I was growing up as a youth. I was privileged compared to how she was growing up. And after hearing the stories about what Grandma went through, and also a little bit what Ma went through, and those kind of days, I did have it easy. We didn't have the social media. We had word of mouth. If there was going to be a free concert and they announced it on the radio, the damn thing was already sold out in a second or two. And if there was contest, and there were contests, pick up the phone, dial. Daryl, you remember the rotaries? How fast can you dial a rotary real fast to get into a line and hear this beep, beep, beep? I'm sorry, that line is busy right now. Please try again. I'm sorry, that line is busy right now. Please try again. Hold for the next operator. No, your number this, your number that, your number this, your number that. Did I get it? No, you're too late. Ah! How about the push buttons? I'm sorry, that line is busy right now. Please try again. I'm sorry, that line is busy right now. Please try again. This is the station here. Hold, please. Doodaloo, 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 doodaloo. Your number such and such, your number such and such, your number such and such. Did I win? No. Click. I don't know how the hell those guys did speed dialing. I really don't. It's bad enough when you got speed dialing on your phones, your portable phones. We get the cell phones out there, and we got speed dial. Imagine listening to the damn concert things. Well, if you're going to be number such and such on the station over here, you're going to get free concerts to this thing. God, what a pain in the ass. All them damn teenagers trying to fight their way, and you got the adults trying to fight their way a little slower. Sometimes the kids actually did get into it. I mean, they actually get the free tickets. Lucky bastards. Now, if they were just a toll-free number, that's one thing. You didn't have to worry about the damn phone bill until your parents looked at it and said, "How many times did you dial this number?" It was a concert I was trying to get to. And you didn't even get the damn tickets? What's wrong with you? You gotta be faster next time. As soon as they had just before they announced the number, you had to know that number beforehand to get the concert tickets. What a pain in the ass. And now these days we got to do fast enough with the damn digital texting these days. And random chance if we get a ticket or not for something. Can we relate to the Gen Xers? Or the Gen Zers? I can tell you one thing. I don't go for that kind of crap anymore. I don't. I'm seeing too much crap happening these days with people having with personality issues, and they're also having political crap going through their heads that they want to tell people what they think and what should happen. And what should happen at this point is we need to mind our own damn business at the time. The kids are going to be their kids. They're going to be learning things the hard way. They're going to be doing some destructive work. Well, they're going to be learning it the hard way. We had to do it. They got to go through it. Which means if you're going to be doing burnouts, and believe me, they've been doing a lot of burnouts, eventually these kids are going to get caught or they're going to get hurt. If they get caught, either they get warned off by the cops or they get charged. Period. Some of these cities and counties are not being kind to the kids. They're not going to. They got to learn the hard way. What happened out there in New York City with the mob? They'll learn it the hard way. Some things you just don't get away with. And some things you just got to get, just deal with it and roll with the punches. So I'm hoping you're having a good morning. I'm still waking up.